Hey guys! Alright, we're going to read chapter 3 from our book that we're reading. So remember, we're reading Masterminds Part 2, the second book in the little series. Okay, so chapter 3 is from Malik's perspective. Well, it finally happened. I'm 1,000,000% out of Happy Valley. The bus depot in Denver has to be the most unserene place on the face of the earth. First off, it's packed. The entire population of Happy Valley must go by every 30 seconds. And they're not just going by, they're moving in about 1,000 different directions, bumping into each other, bouncing off, pushing, sidestepping, rushing, arguing, muttering, and cursing under their breath. Everyone is either impatient or angry or both. There are a few small kids and they're all crying. Announcements are blaring over a PA system in English and Spanish, I think. It's impossible to be sure. The speakers are crackling and buzzing and you can't make out any of it. Somebody has spray painted stuff on the walls, but it's too messy to read. There's garbage all over the floor, including right near the garbage can, and the smell. It's a combination of sweaty laundry and wet newspaper in a bathroom right before it gets cleaned. I love this place. So, of course, Tori is the polar opposite. This is horrible. How do people live like this? Nobody lives here, Eli reminds her. This is a bus station. Well, maybe that guy over there, I had, indicating a ragged man seated against the wall on a huge carton padded with assorted grimy blankets and pillows. Amber emits a little gasp. He's homeless. I read about that in USA Today. She starts toward him. Tori pulls her back by her ponytail. Where are you going? We have to help him, she hisses. We can't even help ourselves. Eli counters. People looking out for one another, she lectures. It's the definition of community. I cut her off. If you still believe all that Happy Valley brainwashing, you should have stayed there. Look around. Do you see any honesty, harmony, and contentment? This is real life. It's where we come from that's fake. The thing about Alaska is she's never backs down. Just because Serenity turned out to be evil doesn't mean the ideas we learned were all bad. Where do I even start? The question isn't whether Serenity is a good place or a bad place. It's an unplace. And the lives we lived there weren't real. We can't judge here based on there because that was all fake. Case in point, we're having this conversation while standing stock still in the middle of a bus station with people trying to get around us, over us, under us, and through us. Out of my way, kids. I've got a bus to catch. Lousy tourists. You got legs inside those jeans? Sorry, I mutter, and I drag the others out of the way. We exit the depot not so much by walking as by allowing ourselves to stumble along with the current of the crowd. Outside, there's more room, but also more chaos to fill it. The sidewalks are teeming with pedestrians. Vehicles whiz by on the street. Skyscrapers soar all around us. What do you look at first? Faces, cars, signs, stores? The sounds provide as much variety as the sights. Sirens, honking horns, squealing brakes, blaring stereos, leaf blowers, jackhammers, excited shouts. It's like a guy who's been fed bread and water his whole life suddenly stumbling into a humongous feast with every kind of food and drink imaginable. I'm a clone. My whole life up to now has been a big lie. The people I consider my parents are scientists. I'm on the run from the purple commandos. My chances of having any kind of future seem uncertain and very slim. I get all that, but I take a moment to drink it in. A city, a real city. I've spent 13 years longing for this kind of place, dreaming about it, and finally here I am. We get bumped around a lot because we're staring up at tall buildings instead of walking. There are muttered comments about stupid kids and tourists, which makes no sense because this is definitely not a vacation. Tori is nearly flattened by a little old lady who looks like somebody's grandmother. I take a briefcase on the side from a passing businessman. I'm not Tori. I ram my shoulder into his chest. Then I stand there defiantly waiting for him to give me a hard time about it. He doesn't. He just takes his lumps and keeps on going. Maybe this is how you get along here, by standing up for your space. Everybody's so mean, Tori complains. I don't think so, Eli says. They're just busy. They've got places they have to go and things they need to do. He's right. People are running for buses, getting into cars and taxis, rushing in and out of stores and office buildings. And at least half of them seem to be late and moving with urgent purpose. Nobody rushes like that at Happy Valley, where any place you have to get to is no more than a few minutes away, and the last traffic jam was never. In Serenity, it only seemed like people had busy lives. Amber observes their only real job was watching us. Am I supposed to be flattered? I rumble. Let's get off the main street, Eli suggests. We round the first corner and turn again down a narrow lane that cuts behind the bus station. At last, quiet, and a chance to stand still without being bombarded from all sides. It's not quite like being back in Serenity, of course. There's a buzz to Denver that never completely goes away. The only buzz in Happy Valley is from the bugs. It takes us a minute to realize that we're not alone in the alley. About 30 feet away are two guys, and at first I can't quite figure out what they're doing. For starters, they're a mismatched pair. One guy well-dressed and groomed, the other scuffy and unshaven. Then I catch a sight of a glint of metal. A knife. Scuffy has the suit guy up against the wall and holding the knife to his back. My heart starts pounding so hard that it echoes in my ears. It's terrifying, and yet I've never been so excited in my life. This is a robbery, a real-life crime. Hey! Suddenly, Amber is running toward the two men. You stop that! Scruffy wheels, and now the knife is pointing at Amber. Eli and Tori are frozen with horror. I have to admit, I'm pretty freaked out myself, but Amber is ready to take on the world. Scruffy takes a threatening step toward her. Back off, little girl. You back off, she spits at him. Believe it or not, the first sign of fear comes from the criminal. You think I won't cut you because you're a kid? His voice comes out a little high. Amber doesn't seem frightened at all. She starts lecturing the crook in what sounds eerily like her mother's teacher voice. You don't even know who you're robbing. That's a crime, and this is a crime against yourself. We're all pretty scared, especially the victim. He's pressed up to the wall, unsure if his mugging is still on. Scruffy's eyes widen even farther. Now you're telling me my business? Without honesty and harmony, Amber demands, what chance will you ever have at contentment? If the situation wasn't so dangerous, I'd laugh out loud. Leave it to Laska to spout classic Happy Valley garbage to a criminal with a knife. Amber, Eli croaks warningly. The blade swings in his direction and he climbs up. Then Scruffy wields the weapon at his intended victim, who has been inching away from the wall. Finally, he spins to threaten Amber, she doesn't move a muscle. Ramrod straight in her fury. You're nuts, the crook tells her and runs out of the alley, disappearing from view. The rest of us are still quaking in our shoes, too scared to speak. He did the right thing, Amber approves, her anger lifting. Maybe he did, says the victim, dusting himself off. Did you? I couldn't let him rob you, she retorts. What would you have done if nobody stood for you? I would have done this. He makes an elaborate show of handing her his watch, his wallet, his cell phone, and a gold pinky ring. Laska stares at the stash in her open palms. But you'd lose everything. He shakes his head. Not everything. I still have my life, so I could go out and buy new things. But you could have gotten yourself killed, a young kid with everything still ahead of you. Didn't your mother ever teach you not to stick your neck out? We gawk at the guy. Not just Amber, but all of us. If there was ever a conversation Happy Valley didn't prepare us for, it was this one. He looks us over, and I can tell he sees how clueless we are. Let me guess, you kids aren't from around here. I shuffle uncomfortably. Not really. Where are your parents? We're meeting them later, Tori supplies. The guy thinks it over. He isn't satisfied with what we're telling him, but he seems pressed for time. When he takes a step back from Amber, he keeps glancing at the watch. A word of advice? Denver can be a tough town, so when your folks aren't around, don't stick your noses into other people's business, especially rough business down some alley. Think about what could have happened to the both of us. But we helped you, Amber says. And I'm grateful. He reaches into his wallet and hands her a $20 bill. For your trouble, don't ever do it again. We stand in silence for a few seconds as he hurries out of the alley. That's it? I call as receding back. That's all your life is worth, $20? Eli finds his voice at last. You know, Amber, that guy's right. That was way too risky. She's stubborn. It's never wrong to do what's right. If it gets you stabbed, Tori reasons. He wouldn't have done that. Maybe he would, maybe he wouldn't, Eli insists. You can't take that chance. All this proves is that we're like aliens in the outside world. We have to feel our way through every minute of every day because it'll only take one mistake to sink us. If you got stabbed and wound up in the hospital, it could make the papers. You think purple people eaters can't read? And you could have died, Tori adds emotionally. If we're going to have the chance at any kind of life, any kind of future, we all have to pull together. A discordant note sounds in my head, one that extinguishes any exhilaration I might feel at my very first glimpse of a real city. It's a little late for that, I remind everyone. We've already lost somebody. Hector. Poor stupid pain in the butt little Hector who died during our escape from Happy Valley. When you discover that you've got no family, your friends mean that much more to you. We all can't pull together because there's no all without Hector. Even if we manage to beat the odds and carve out a place for ourselves in this world, Hector will still be gone. Tori pats my shoulder. We miss him too, Malik. They probably do, but not as much as me. We're still here, Eli persists. We have to go on. We have to eat. We need some place to sleep. Clean clothes, adds Tori. If we look too grubby, we'll attract attention, and I bet we don't smell so hot, too. How much rain do we have? 20 bucks more than before, thanks to Alaska. I put in sourly. Less than 300, Eli reports. They're getting on my nerves. I'm not done mourning Hector yet, but the future has to be faced. A brand new city and a lot of brand new challenges. And the purples are out there still looking for us. We can't forget about that either. Alright, that was the end of chapter 3. I hope you guys enjoyed.